forever be embarrassed to stand upright and call myself human, like that's something to be proud of. And people have the audacity to claim that we are civilized and intelligent? You've got to be kidding. The only thing that we've changed in the last 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 years is our haircuts and our clothes. We're the same barbarians we've always been. Always thinking we're better than someone else. Always taking advantage of someone else instead of extending mercy and compassion and decency to someone else. If you want to bring peace to the world, peace to the Middle East, try veganism for a change. Because I know meat, cheese, milk, and eggs certainly isn't working. Try something else for a change. So how come if the animals in that video were dogs and cats? People would be outraged. If there were kids, the world would scream bloody murder. Instead, the victims are cows and chickens and fish, and all of a sudden it's okay. So I am a little confused here. Is the slaughterhouse the problem? Or is the problem just who's getting killed in the slaughterhouse? Because it's a house of slaughter. Why does it even exist? Especially in a country that loves to say, never again. It'll never happen again. I got some harsh news for you. The animal holocaust was happening long before the Jewish Holocaust, during the Jewish Holocaust, and it's still happening today. It is time for Israel to become the first nation on this planet to abolish concentration camps once and for all. Amen. All I'm asking you to do is something normal and natural. Eat what comes from the earth, what the ground pushes up, and what the trees drop down and give us. Every single vitamin, mineral, and nutrient that exists, protein, calcium, iron, potassium, all the B vitamins, they have an original source, and it ain't the animals. I know you're aware that people eat animals after the animals have already eaten things that come from the earth. People eat cows after the cows have eaten up all the grass and some of the soil. And we ship them off to a feedlot, and we feed them most of our corn, wheat, oats, and soy. Then we take more of the corn, the wheat, the oats, and the soy. We shove it down the throats of pigs, chickens, and turkeys. Stop filtering your nutrients through someone else's body. It's irrational. Go to those sources directly. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, lentils. These things cannot harm you, cannot cause a disease, and most importantly, they never intentionally harm anyone else in the process. But when we consume what walks and what flies and what swims, that is abnormal. Where does everybody think diseases come from? Broccoli? Asparagus? Blueberries? Strawberries? Peaches, nectarines, grapes, bananas, avocados? And I am aware that many other factors can lead to a disease. Stress is an absolute killer. It is. So is lack of sleep and excessive amounts of empty carbohydrates and sugar. But animal products, animal protein, cholesterol, saturated fat, huge amounts of fat, trans fatty acids that are naturally found in meat and dairy. Animal products remain the main cause of every major disease. Check out the All About Veganism section on my website. I now have links to more than 50 medical studies proving that veganism by far is the healthiest way to live. And let me destroy some lies about B12 and the hereditary factor for disease. First, B12 comes from bacteria that live in our mouth and intestines. That bacteria also exists in the mouth and the intestines of all the animals and the soil. So, you can let your body produce B12 naturally, which is what we and all the animals do. Or you can eat some unwashed organic vegetables once in a while with some dirt still on them, like carrots and celery, and get all the B12 you will ever need. B12 is also destroyed by heat. So once you cook something, like meat, the B12 is gone. And the other myth is that we can't do anything about our health because it's already programmed into our genes. Hey, Gary, that was a great speech, man, but heart disease runs in my family. Breast cancer keeps running in my family. Nonsense. Don't you know what runs in people's families? You should by now. Meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. It's not hereditary when our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents ate the same disgusting, unhealthy things that we still eat. Actually, that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and always expecting a different result. Baldness is hereditary. You can thank your mom and dad for that. Eye color is in the genes. Cystic fibrosis, Down syndrome, that's in the genes. Heart disease and cancers are not. Now, I want to break this down for you even further and show you exactly who's been lying to you all these years. Because according to the dairy industry itself, the main reasons they exist are so you can get protein and calcium. Now, unless you plan on starving yourself to death, which I do not recommend, it's impossible not to get protein. You couldn't even do it if you tried, because fruit is around 5% protein. Vegetables are around 33% protein. Meat, by the way, on average, 34% protein. We're talking a 1 percentage point difference. Nuts have protein, beans have protein, lentils have protein, brown rice, millet, quinoa, barley, every single grain, every single seed on this planet has protein. 1 cup of tempeh. Tempeh is a meat-like substance made from fermented soy. 1 cup has more than 30 grams of protein. And the seaweed, spirulina, 79% protein, which is nearly twice the amount of protein found in any animal product. So again, unless you're planning on starving yourself to death, it's impossible not to get your protein intake. As for the calcium, which is abundant in the plant kingdom, like every nutrient that exists, that's where nutrients come from, the plants. Best sources, by the way, of calcium are almonds, broccoli, parsley, and sea vegetables, seaweed. But check out the vitamins section on my website, because I now have a detailed list of the best sources for more than 100 nutrients. But the dairy industry, boy, they love to say, eat some cheese, drink some cow's milk, strong bones, strong body. Milk does a body good. Happy cows got milk. Most people eat dairy products 3 times a day. You can't even get a sandwich anymore without cheese. People put cheese and meat on salads, too. And by the way, if you're eating a salad with meat and cheese on it, it's not a salad. Stop that shit. It's a sandwich without the bread. All chopped up in little pieces put inside of a bowl. Spare me the chicken salad, tuna salad crap. A salad is comprised of vegetables and plant products only. And if you're lucky enough to find a vegetable-only salad somewhere, what's the first thing people have to say to the waiter like an addict? Some ranch. You pour some dairy all over these vegetables for me? So in this society where everybody is hooked on dairy, I mean hooked like it's been laced with cocaine and Percocet, most people can't even fathom 1 meal, let alone 1 day or a lifetime without cheese. In fact, if you want to know why vegetarians never make that switch to veganism, cheese on a baked potato, cheese on a broccoli, cheese on everything in sight. Even lactose intolerant people eat cheese. So, we have all these animal products coming into our diets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day, without exception. Snacks, too. Did you ever wonder why nearly every other commercial on TV has something to do with pills and illnesses? And why our parents and grandparents have to take multivitamins every day? And why there's a drugstore on every street corner pushing vitamins and pharmaceuticals on everybody. After all, we do live in a meat, dairy, and egg-eating world. You think maybe people need pills because meat, cheese, milk, and eggs are pure and utter garbage with very little to no nutritional value whatsoever? And let me mention something quickly about the environment and world hunger. Because a lot of people keep telling me that they care more about humans than animals, so they can never go vegan. As if eating some tofu today is going to mess up your human rights activities for the day. I'll never understand the logic on this, especially because meat, dairy, and egg-eating societies are the main cause of world hunger, as they continuously feed 50% of the world's crops. 50%. Back to the 60 billion land animals in the meat, dairy, and egg industries, and the tens of billions of marine animals on fish farms that we kill every year, instead of using those crops to feed 7.5 billion people. Do the math on this. You don't have to be Einstein to figure out this equation. Every 2 to 3 seconds, some human dies from starvation. But chickens, turkey, pigs, they never miss a meal. Meat, dairy, and egg eating is the worst form of human and animal abuse. And when it comes to pure environmental destruction, air pollution, water pollution, deforestation, nothing competes with animal agriculture. There is no such thing as a meat, dairy, or egg-eating environmentalist. But check out the 2 environmental sections on my website for more detailed information about that, because I want to spend a little more time right now condemning the dairy industry. Because when it comes to cruelty, I think there's more cruelty in a piece of cheese, in a glass of milk, in yogurt, than there is in meat. First of all, most hamburger meat comes from the dairy industry. When cows can't produce huge amounts of milk after 3 to 7 years, slaughterhouse, no exception. If ever given a chance, cows can live to be 18 to 25. And cows are like all female mammals. And I don't mean to be speaking down to anybody. That's how it sounds. It's just that when people are addicts, they're irrational. They become completely illogical about everything, especially their addiction. I know you understand this concept. You just never think about it when it comes to the animals. Cows are like all female mammals. They can only produce and give milk during or after pregnancy. So once a year, every cow in every dairy farm is raped to impregnate her. A long steel device shoved in her vagina to inject her with bull semen. Or sometimes they just use a bare hand to do it. Got to get that milk flow going somehow. And later on, after she gives birth, her newborn baby is stolen from her. A couple months later, repeat the process all over again. And why would the dairy industry steal newborn babies from their mom? Well, they can't have little calves sucking up all that milk that was meant for them. And they'd rather sell it to you instead. Every time you have dairy, some calf is not. And mother cows make milk for one reason anyways. For their babies and for their babies alone. This case is closed forever. Permanently. There will be no debate and no discussion on this topic whatsoever. The jury is in. They certainly don't make milk for baby elephants, and baby orangutans, and baby rabbits, and baby rats. Baby humans, adolescent humans, or adult humans. This body of ours has absolutely no need for cow milk, like it has absolutely no need for giraffe milk, and zebra milk, rhinoceros milk, hippopotamus milk, camel milk, goat milk, horse milk, pig milk, dog milk, or cat milk. The only milk that we ever need comes from our own mother. That's it. And after the first few years of life, we never need 1 drop of milk ever again. No species on this planet needs milk after the first few years of life. But if you want to include some kind of milk in your diet like I do, it is finally time for some good news. Because I can see it on some of your faces. You're like, damn, did you fly all the way from Michigan to Israel just to verbally abuse us? Lighten up, man. Actually, I came here today to show you what you've been missing. Because everyone's got those blinders on nice and tightly. But everything you like to eat, the taste, the smell, and the texture, we got a vegan version for you. It's been veganized. There's soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, hemp milk, coconut milk, oat milk, hazelnut milk, sunflower milk, and flax milk. You can mimic the taste and texture of meat with tofu, and tempeh, and seitan. Plus we got all those vegan meats and vegan dairy products made from plant products, not from chemicals. Let's not forget about the basics, the staples of life, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and grains and legumes. And what about ethnic food? Boy, people are clamoring all over the world for Middle Eastern food, and guess where we're at right now? Yeah, Middle Eastern food. Falafel, tabbouleh, hummus, fattoush, lentil soup. You can always add Asian food, stir-fried vegetables, and tofu. Just remember when ordering Asian dishes, always order those dishes without fish sauce added to it. There's Indian food, like aloo gobi, cauliflower, potatoes, and curry, or chana masala, chickpeas, and tomatoes. Mexican food, rice and beans and guacamole. Ethiopian food, split peas and lentils. Italian food, pasta, spaghetti, and pizzas without cheese, unless you got a really cool place in town that does have the vegan cheese. In fact, there's something very cool, that Domino's Pizza very soon at all 50 locations throughout Israel. We'll be offering vegan cheese on their menu. Okay, so you can have all the stuff that you still want just in the vegan version. But check out my website for tips on what to eat and where to eat. I have a restaurant section. I have a recipe section. I have a veg athlete section. You got DairyTV.com that has a link to Vegan Friendly, which is the group down here that's been converting all the restaurants to have a vegan menu. Please go to the web and check out all the great places that are out there to eat, especially throughout Tel Aviv. Now, don't think I don't watch your faces when I'm up here, because that's what I do when I'm preaching. I'm watching all your expressions. How come when I talk about tofu and tempeh and pizzas without cheese, always catch a couple people in every crowd start to wrinkle up their noses, eyes get a little wide and start glancing over at their friends like, tofu, is this guy crazy? Tempeh, he must be out of his mind. What the hell is seitan? Seitan is wheat meat, by the way. It's meat that's made from wheat. So how come tofu and pizzas without cheese are considered gross to most people? And fruits and vegetables are considered gross to most people. But meat, oh, it's time to break meat down for everybody. You got 5 components to meat: blood, flesh, veins, muscles, and tendons. The cut-up corpse of a dismembered body? How does meat not qualify as disgusting and gross to everybody? How in the world is a liquid that oozes out of a cow's udder, a secretion that drips from an animal's body, that's loaded with pus, by the way, stuff that comes out of your zit, pus? How's that not considered gross to everybody? Oh, and let me tell you about the pus in the cow's milk. It'd be my pleasure. When you hook machines up to the udders of cows 3 times a day to suck them dry, those machines cause massive amounts of infections and irritations on the inside and outside of the udder. Then when you add all the bovine growth hormone and all the genetic engineering that's been done to a cow's body to make sure she produces huge amounts of milk, which always leads to another infection, the machine doesn't know what not to suck out. Pus, mucus, and infections right into the milk. And yes, milk is pasteurized. But exactly when did pasteurization become a removal process? Last time I checked, it was a sanitation process, meaning you're only sanitizing pus. If you want to look this up online, well, you don't think the dairy industry would ever use the word pus when they write about this problem in their own trade journals, do you? No, they're going to deceive you again. Look up the scientific term for pus. Somatic cell count. S-O-M-A-T-I-C. And let's talk about some other disgusting things that you guys love to eat. Did you know that the backside of a bird is called a cloaca? C-L-O-A-C-A. It was the opening scene in the video. I could pop that back in if you want to see it. It's one hole. It is one hole, but it serves many purposes. It's the poop hole. It's the pee hole. It's the vaginal fluid hole. And it's the hole where your scrambled eggs and omelets come from. Yeah, I remember back in the day. I used to love my scrambled eggs with shit sprinkles and urine splatter all over it too. Because you know when you crack that shell over the bowl, all those microscopic particles fly every which way. And what about vomit? Puke. Come on, you guys love vomit. You would pour vomit in on it all over your food. Better give this a pretty name. Now, no one's going to want to buy and eat vomit unless we call it honey instead. Honey comes directly from a bee's stomach. It is regurgitated right through a bee's mouth. Look that up with any wildlife biologist. But no one wants to eat bee vomit nut Cheerios. We want honey nut Cheerios. So we lie to ourselves and play euphemism games. The standard diet of a meat, dairy, and egg eater is blood, flesh, veins, muscles, tendons, cow secretions, things that come out of a hen's ass, and bee vomit? Oh, we're not done yet. I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy like that here tonight. Because we top it all off, in my opinion, because every year when people start cooking turkeys for the holidays, boy, people take a dead turkey, carve out a really big hole in that dead turkey's ass, take some stuffing and shove it inside their dead empty ass, and use their little dead ass as an oven to bake some bread. Somebody else's dead empty bacteria-laden ass to make bread. Ass bread, ass stuffing, and people think vegans are weird because we eat tofu. I tell people nowadays one of my favorite meals, yams and barley. Boy, hook me up with some sweet potatoes and some barley, and I'm a happy guy. I know how most people are, though. I tell them this, they're like, "You just eat grains and vegetables for dinner?" Yeah, I don't know, man. That's kind of weird. Okay, but somebody else's rib cage sitting on your plate isn't weird? Severed legs, sliced up thighs, and mutilated breast on your plate isn't weird and doesn't make you think twice? Is bestiality weird to anybody? Doing sexual things with animals? Because I used to think everybody thought so, but not even close, my meat, cheese, milk, egg-loving friends. Because you engage in carnivorous bestiality on a daily basis. Sometimes multiple times a day. You eat things that come out of a hen's ass and shove things into a turkey's ass. You eat breast, legs, and thighs, and then you pay somebody else to sexually molest a cow and squeeze her nipples for you so you can steal her milk? Man, you guys are obsessed with hen asses and cow tits. Enough already. Seriously? Can everybody get a grip on reality? And step into the 21st century and stop mimicking the behavior of cavemen and cavewomen? You have a choice today. When you leave this room, you can choose to be radically kind, to never intentionally harm another animal for breakfast, lunch, or dinner ever again. These animals have never violated you or taken advantage of you in any way. The least you can do is return the favor. Or stay radically cruel. Keep the status quo as is. Make sure animals have their babies stolen from them. Make sure their horns are cut off, beaks sliced off, testicles ripped out. Make sure they're raped. Make sure they never experience one drop of human kindness. And make sure there's a knife in their throat every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, for eternity. I really hope you make the right choice. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to do some Q&A right now. Are there any questions out there? You want me to clarify something I said that makes no sense? How I got started, how you should get started, whatever you guys want to talk about?
I just want to know how we're going to stop it. How are you going to stop it?
We're going to stop it together. We're all going to change. Once we change, once the people change, okay, the system changes. The corporations change. You guys know that Tenuva, the biggest dairy producer here, just put out vegan yogurt?
Yep.
That's changed.
We know.
Okay, and when we start buying the vegan yogurt from Tenuva, they're going to see, oh my God, we're making billions of dollars off the vegan yogurt. Let's make less cow milk yogurt, more vegan yogurt. McDonald's in Bombay, India last year opened up the first vegetarian McDonald's because people were demanding vegetarian food in Bombay. So once we start making these changes, and listen, change is slow and it stinks. It stinks for the victims, but that's the only way to do it.
Is that going to be that's something that we're supposed to have about the world before the
Sure. You're going to have to educate people because people don't know what's going on. I've been involved in activism for 17 years. The most effective form of activism is education, and I've tried it all. I've broken laws. I've been arrested 13 times. I've been kicked out of 5 countries. I tried working with the media. I tried working with politicians. I've tried everything. The only successful thing has been education, teaching somebody why it's wrong, why speciesism is just as evil as anti-Semitism, just as evil as racism, just as evil as sexism. It has to go that way. Without education, there can be no liberation. You're going to have to teach people, show people what's going on, and it's going on right here. Israel right now is living proof about change, what can happen. In the last few years, Israelis have made my speech the most viewed speech in the history of Israel. 1 in 7 Israelis have now seen this speech. Look at the vegan movement that's going on here right now. You guys are now leading the world in veganism. When I was here last year, there were basically 5 restaurants I could eat at. Now, understand there's always ethnic food. There's falafel everywhere. You can always get falafel and tabbouleh, and there's Indian restaurants. But there were basically 5 restaurants. Right now, there are now over 100 restaurants offering a vegan menu. This has changed. And when they start seeing it, I was at a dinner last night. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. I don't know if somebody wants to yell it out. That was with me last night.
Espresso bar.
Where?
Nanushka.
I talked to the owner last night. She said it was the most successful night she's ever had. Ever. It was an all-vegan night last night. It's happening. And when they start seeing, hey, we can make the same amount of money serving vegan food, why not do it? You guys, but it's all up to you. Don't rely on the government. Don't rely on politicians. Don't rely on anybody else but the people. When we change, the system changes. Society changes. What question?
I've been vegan for 2 years, and I have a lot of arguments with people because almost every time my friends want to eat some nuts vegan stuff, sometimes I don't want to insult them, but they say something about how you're yogurt or whatever you're eating. So, and I have a lot of other arguments about it, even with people who don't really know. And I would like if you can tell me some tips to argument, because I just get really sad. Like, how can you do this?
Those feelings are proper. Your feelings of sadness, your feelings of helplessness sometimes. People don't listen. But listen, first of all, you said something, you don't want to insult them. Forget about that. Insult if you have to. Hold up, you would insult a Nazi if you had to. You would insult a child molester if you had to. You would insult a racist if you had to.
But sometimes they're my friends or friends
That's
of
okay.
friends,
So,
and
friends can be wrong too.
They're like serum here, vegan Nazis, and it's like I want to be. I don't. No, seriously, it's like I want to tell people the fact, but sometimes when I tell them too much or something like this, they think I'm the one who is not okay.
It's not. Please don't think that. Now listen.
No, I know that's the reason I'm vegan, because I really believe in it. Just like I don't want people to, how to say that, I'm sorry, no, she's too weird, she's vegan, she doesn't understand it, whatever, just want to be more friendly and to make them more compassionate.
Use whatever tactic you need to, but I'm still going to say, if you end up insulting somebody, I don't want to do that either, but the truth can be insulting. It's tough to hear that you've been doing something wrong. That's why people react in such a horrible way sometimes. They lash out. Because self-condemnation, admitting that you've been doing something wrong, is a hard thing to do. I remember when I had to look in the mirror, 17 years ago, when I went vegan and said, oh my God, what am I doing to these animals? Why am I acting like a devil to them? I would never treat a dog like this, or a cat like this, or a horse like this. Why do I treat cows and pigs and chickens like they don't count? So you have to speak truthfully. And you have to speak for the animal. Listen, you have to speak for the animals like you would want to be spoken for if you were in their position. So it's tough. Teaching people that they've been doing something wrong is tough, but you have to stick with it. Now, let me give you a bit of advice, though. Let me give you a bit of advice. If you're working on somebody, a friend or a family member, and they refuse to budge, you've tried over and over again, and they don't, show any sign of changing, you don't have to forget about them and move on to somebody else that wants to listen. There are tons of people. I'm living proof of this. I've lectured to 60,000 Americans in the last 11 years. Okay, there are plenty of people that want to listen and want to change. And we're going to have to focus on those people right now. Because once we get those people, the majority, everyone else is going to have to follow suit. That's how things work. So stick with it. Try and try. You want to be kind. You want to be peaceful. You want to be radical. I don't care what tactic you use. But if it's not working, you're going to have to move on to somebody else. Find somebody else to teach.
I also try to offer people vegan food.
There's a good idea, too. Trick them. Don't even offer it. Trick them. Say, hey, I made you a hamburger. I made myself a veggie burger. Here's a hamburger. And they'll eat it and then go, oh, by the way, how'd you like your burger? It was great. That was a veggie burger. Can't you tell the difference? Quickly, I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania a couple of months ago, and I had a student that told me all his friends and family members were mad because he went vegan. So he promised them that he was going to stop being vegan. It had been 6 months. So he said, let me make you guys a barbecue. I'm going to eat it too. I'll end my veganism. So he's cooking for everybody, cheesesteaks, and hot dogs, and hamburgers. And everyone's eating. And after the barbecue, after he was done serving everybody, they all came up to him and said, hey, you said you were going to stop being vegan. Where's your sandwich? Okay. Grab the bun, some bread, put some Philly cheese, steak and cheese in it. And they're all looking at him like, oh my God, he's going to...
Party.
And everyone's like, yay! So he ate the sandwich, and then after he was done, he said, by the way, how'd everybody like their vegan Philly cheesesteaks and vegan hot dogs and vegan hamburgers? Like, what? Didn't even know. It's all up here. People go into it sometimes thinking that it's gross, and they won't even try, which is why you have to trick them. Say, see, tastes just like cream cheese. This tofu cream cheese tastes just like cream cheese. Don't even try it. Another quick example. My father, when he was still alive, my father was 411 pounds.
Whoa.
Mr. Meat, Dairy, and Egg Eater. And he was like everyone else, I don't want your vegan shit. Don't feed me your vegan food. So I was forced to trick him one day. I went over his house on Sunday to watch a football game. I brought some bagels and some tofu cream cheese. Now I took the lid off the tofu cream cheese so he couldn't see that it said tofu, and it looks just like cream cheese. I set it on the table. My pops, Dad comes out of the bedroom, 411 pounds, waddling in the room.
Yeah.
He sees the bagel. I know he's going to grab a bagel, so he sits down, like, Papa, what you doing? He grabs the bagel, put it on the cream cheese. I'm sitting over there. Got cream cheese all around. I don't want to say anything yet, because I know he's going to grab another bagel. He grabs the second bagel. Here's all the cream cheese. Halfway through, I said, hey, Pop, how do you like the bagels and cream cheese today? He said, what do you mean? I always like it. Oh, tofu cream cheese. Oh, what are you feeding me? Oh, that was So you have to trick them sometimes, and it's easy to do. Question?
You have a very important role in fertility healing as well. But in my opinion, now you're an icon. Okay? You have a very important in this subject. I think there's a problem. Everyone here heard the news that it said it's okay to wear a woman if she wears fair weather, fair coat. And I'm calling this meeting with you to try to convince some people from our movement to come here. And they said, no, we can't go to meet someone who said that to be violent is okay.
Do you think I really said that?
I don't know, maybe you tell us. Because I think now you're a role model for a lot of people. You need to be very, very careful, and you need to say out front in the papers, in the news, you need to say that you're against violence every time.
Let me say this to everybody loudly and clearly. Don't be fucking stupid. I think rape is fucking evil. Okay? Stop with the I hope, I okay that women get raped. What I said was, okay, I wish evil things happen to evil people. Okay? And that's normal. I'm sane, I'm logical. Because if you don't wish that Nazis get raped, then you're lying. If you don't wish that a child molester gets raped, then you are lying. All I did was wish it. Okay? And when it's done, if it happens, I hope the rapist has his cock and his balls sliced off with a cuticle remover, that thing you used for you there.
Okay.
I hope you take two, I want to do it personally. I want to take 2 skewers, kebabs. I want to shove it right between both eyes into his head. I want to drag him by his eyes and his brain into another room. I want to cover him in Ceylon. I want to put 10,000 flies in that room and have the flies eat the rapist alive. I wish evil things happen to all evil people. I hope Nazis get raped, personally. I do. I hope rapists get raped. I do. And stop it already. I don't okay it. It's evil. I certainly don't wish that bags of money fall from the sky and land in a fur coat wearer's lap. I don't wish that they hit the lottery. I don't wish that lollipops fall from the sky. What do you want me to wish? Peace and love to an evil person? You wish peace and love to Hitler and Himmler? Goebbels?
I only said that we need to be very, very careful.
Okay, I'm careful, by the way. I know what I'm doing. This is why the world is changing and listening to me. Stop being a politician. I will never be a politician. I will never watch my words. Okay, I say what I feel. And I feel what I say. And I mean every word that I say. I hope evil things happen to evil people so maybe they can understand that the evil they're doing is wrong. Because they don't listen, bullies don't understand compassion all the time. We live in a fantasy world where we want to say, love conquers hate. Everybody love! 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 Really? How did that love work with the Nazis? Seriously, how did the Holocaust end? With love? Or when the Allied forces came in and said, hey, we told you guys to stop killing the Jews. We warned you for years. Now we're killing you. Don't tell me that violence isn't appropriate either at times. It always is. Every revolution that has ever existed ended with violence. Revolting against the violent people. I'm not asking for a McDonald's to be blown up. Okay, that's not what I'm asking for.
It wouldn't be that bad.
Okay, I want to teach people. Just so you know, in case anyone's not aware, I teach. I'm a teacher. I've given 2,400 lectures in the last 11 years. All I do is pacifism work. But don't ask me to love somebody who has no love to give. Don't ask me to show compassion to people that have no compassion to give to others. I won't do it.
But I think you need in your...
Okay, you can think whatever you
No,
want.
you need to say in the beginning of your session class that you're against blown up McDonald's because...
No, I don't. I don't need to say it because it's stupid. If you think I think that, then I don't want to talk to you.
If you are 50 years old, I will think that.
I can't control what you think and what you hear. But if you think that I actually would condone rape, okay, then you're not thinking.
Thank you.
If you think that I want a McDonald's blown up, you're not thinking. You're just being difficult. Okay, and all people, listen, and by the way, if I did everything that you want me to do, by the way, just so you know, can I share this story, Olev, about the minister, the education stuff? You don't mind, right? I'm sharing it anyways. Okay, the education minister just sent out an email to all the high schools. Don't bring this man in. Don't bring him in. He shows slaughterhouse videos. He's going to do this, and he's going to brainwash them. Da da da. So 2 of the high schools canceled already. So the original problem was that I couldn't show a slaughterhouse video to the kids. So you know what I did? Surprisingly to them, I said, okay, I won't show the video. Guess what they said then? Oh, well,
yeah.
You're going to have to meet with our school psychologist to make sure that you're a rational individual. They thought I'd run away because they know how I am. I'm, pretty radical. So, okay. Well, maybe they're psychologists. And they said, you know what? We don't like that you use the term Holocaust and murder and you compare animals to humans. Okay, all right, I won't do that for the high school kids. Okay, I don't like the way that you act, and you're really abrasive and rude sometimes. Okay, I'll be extra sweet for the kids. Okay, I don't like the fact that the kids might change, and then we have to deal with the... Can I explain something to you? Do you understand what's going on? No matter what I do, if you don't want to listen to me, it'll never be good enough. Right. So I choose to speak truthfully, honestly, compassionately. I speak for the animals like I would want to be spoken for if I were in their position. And let me tell you something. I guarantee this. Cows, pigs, chickens, and turkeys who are being tortured and killed, who are being raped and have their beaks sliced off and their horns ripped off, do not wish love and compassion on their tormentors. You might, but they don't. Okay, that's like saying that you really think that anyone that survived the Holocaust is going, man, hey, be nice to that Nazi that you just found in Ohio. I know he's 90 years old, but be really nice to him. Now, drag his ass back to Israel. Put him on trial. Kill him if you have to. That's what tormentors deserve. They don't deserve compassion. But for the record, I do go out and talk to people and give people a chance every time I lecture. All I ask something that's very simple. Can you be kind to somebody else? What's the argument? What's the disagreement? I come to a classroom, I come to a place like this to ask people not to kill somebody else who has never killed them. And then people want to fight sometimes. Why? Not because of what I say. They don't want to listen. They don't want to change. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to remain blind. Yes.
I have two questions. First one is, what's your take on that?
Anybody who has a companion dog or cat and treats that companion like they would treat their child, I think it's completely okay. It's normal, rational. Now let me explain that we have some issues because we have companion animals. Now the first issue is that dogs and cats are meat. We're getting around that. We're not, by the way, and I'll talk about this if you want to hear. Humans are not omnivores or carnivores. We're not meat eaters. We are herbivores, completely up and down. I'll talk about that in a second. But when we have meat-eating pets, what has to happen? Now we have to enslave and kill more cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, and fish to feed the cows, to feed the dogs and cats that we like more. It's not our business to kill. In fact, raise your hand if you have a pet cat. Anybody with your hands up, do you go outside and kill pigeons for your cat?
Yep. She actually does it by herself.
Exactly.
Thank you.
But you don't do it for them. Why? Because it's a sin. I'm not going to kill a bird for the cat. But all of a sudden, we pay people at the slaughterhouse to kill birds and fish and cows to feed the dogs and cats. So problem number one, we're killing more animals to feed them. If they want to do the killing, they got to do it on their own. Don't ask me to kill on their behalf. Ain't going to happen. Now, good news is there's vegan dog food and cat food nowadays. But as I bring this up, my goal is not to convert your dogs and cats into vegans. That's not why I travel the world. That's not why I've been labeled an international terrorist, been kicked out of 5 countries, because I want to make dogs and cats into vegans. But, just so you know, if you change your world, not a bad idea to change the world of somebody else that you care about. Now, just so you know what meat does to us, meat, dairy, and eggs, it gives us diseases, and makes us weak, and makes us actually stupid, too, in many cases. But it makes us unhealthy. The meat that we feed them makes them unhealthy too. It's not real meat. It's actually meat that's not fit for human consumption. It's throwaway meat. Every time there's a meat recall, a salmonella, some kind of listeria or something, you guys don't think that meat ends up in a landfill, do you?
No.
They sell it to the Purina, to Alpo. They sell it to the dog and cat food companies. So we feed our animals food that we won't even eat. And we wonder why our dogs and our cats get sick and get diseases and don't live their long lives too. So I do recommend the vegan dog food and cat food for them. And just so you know, my baby Rex, my dog who passed away in 2004, he was 15 years old. That's a pretty nice old age for a dog. He was vegan the last 9 years of his life, just like his daddy. That's when I found him on the side of the road by a car, and he got the vegan food too. Now, dogs are really easy to turn vegan. And by the way, I just rescued a black Labrador this summer. He's 10 years old. To show you how wonderful humans are, his human family decided to get rid of him because they had a baby.
Aww,
10
sweet.
years they had a friend, and they dropped him off at the Humane Society. I happen to have a friend there, and I just told her, if you got an old dog nobody wants, give me a call. So Doyle had some problems too. He had some problems with his legs. You know, big dog. He was an 80-pound dog. He's a pretty big dog.
Wow.
So big dogs have hip problems, dysplasia. Well, we put him on a vegan diet for the last 6 months. Guess he was running around and jumping up and down. He couldn't jump on the bed when we first got him. He couldn't even play. We'd be like, come on, and you could see he wanted to play. Now we take my socks. It's good for them too. So I recommend. Now, dogs are usually pretty good with vegan dog food. For all the cat people out there, you know about that stereotype. The cats are finicky, they're picky. Yeah, that's real. I can't make a cat like vegan food. Most of the cats don't like vegan food, so they won't eat it. But again, not really my issue, not my concern right now what the dogs and cats are doing. First us, then them. And the other problem we have with having companions is that we love them so much, we love them to death. I say to death for a reason because what do? We breed them and breed them and make more dogs and make more cats, more dogs, more cats. And all of a sudden we're murdering unwanted, unloved dogs and cats in our city shelters, which are now slaughterhouses, by the way. I don't even like using the word shelter. I'm using it so you understand what I'm talking about. When I talk about a humane society, it's a dog and cat slaughterhouse to me. Because if you go into a building alive and come out dead, it's a slaughterhouse. That's all it is. So we do have some issues. You go to my website, adapt.org, you can click on other animal rights issues, and then click on the dog and cat section and read a little more details about that as well. Back there.
I have another question. You talked about animal rights, and it's more about like philosophical. When do these rights? When do you decide these rights stop? Why not let them vote, for example, or live with us in the same time space?
Animals. I'm not asking. You're not asking for animals having the right to vote, the right to drive a car.
What happens?
Okay, it's the right to be left alone, to have bodily integrity. The right to have your body belong to yourself, not to have somebody own you and kill you. So that's what we talk about with animal rights. The right to be free. The right to be left alone, not to be owned and sold and tormented and tortured, enslaved and killed for somebody else's pleasure. That's all we're asking for. And it's a simple request. Leave the cows alone. Leave the chickens alone. Leave the pigs alone. Leave the turkeys alone. Leave the fish alone. Leave them alone. One hand popped up right there.
What would you say to all the people that eat caveman diet, paleo diet? For 2 million years we were hunters, gatherers, etc. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, that's not true. We were gatherers way before we became hunters. This is what people don't want to go far enough back. The logical theory is that when the Ice Age hit, wiped out vegetation, is when humans turned to eating animals as a survival scenario. So it didn't start out that way, okay, because physiologically we're herbivores. I wanted to talk about this, so thanks for bringing this up real quickly. Let me explain simply how humans are herbivores. If your lower jaw moves from side to side like this in a grinding motion, and you chew when you eat, you are 100% herbivore. If you were a meat eater, your jaws can only go up and down like this. That's the only way they can go. Next time you go home and watch a dog or cat eat, watch them eat. There's no grinding, no chewing, up and down. If you sweat through your pores on a hot, sunny day, you are 100% herbivore. If you were a real meat eater, you would pant, like dogs and cats do when it's really hot. That's proving who's an herbivore and who's not. No claws on the human hand. Claws are a trademark of the carnivore and the omnivore. The length of our intestines are somewhere between 7 to 13 times the length of our torso. That's a very long intestinal tract. That means you are 100% herbivore. If you were a real meat eater, the length of your intestines would only be 3 to 6 times the length of your torso, which allows them to push rotting meat carcasses, animal protein through without ever clogging their arteries. You know that clogged arteries can never happen to a real meat eater? You know what the #1 killer of humans is? Those who choose to eat meat, cheese, milk, and eggs? Atherosclerosis, clogged arteries. Okay, and the canines. And by the way, can you pull up my website on your computer?
No, I have no web.
You have no web? Okay. If you want to go to my website as well, I do have a photograph, because every time I talk about humans being herbivores, some guy in the back of me goes, what about these canines, man? What about these canines? Okay, I have a photograph of a human mouth on my website. Okay, and our teeth are identical to horse teeth and cow teeth, the herbivores. And I show a lion's mouth with huge canines and little pointy teeth everywhere. There is not one similarity that we have. And just so you know, all the herbivores had canines. It's not exclusive to carnivores. In fact, you know who has the biggest canines on the planet? Hippos, hippopotamuses.
Yeah.
And they're vegans. Sometimes you have canines, too, to strike fear in the heart of a predator who's thinking about attacking. Because nobody ever messes with a hippo. Baddest creature on this planet is a vegan. It's a hippo. It's not a lion. So the paleo diet, by the way, not a new diet. It's the same stupid diet everyone always does. It's no different than the Atkins diet, than Jenny Craig, than Weight Watchers, than the South Beach diet, and the Zone diet. Do you know why people like these diets that keep coming out? Because it's the same diet. Eat meat, eat cheese, eat milk, eat eggs, eat some combination of animal products, just different portion sizes. You guys want a different diet? You want the only different diet on this planet? That's the only different diet. Paleo diet, by the way, no different than Atkins. It is a recipe for cancer. It is a recipe for heart disease. It is a recipe for osteoporosis. It is a recipe for diabetes. It is absolutely stupid. But people love to be told that what they're doing is okay. So, hey, we got a new diet. Hey, that new diet says eat meat. I knew it was okay. I'm going to do the paleo diet. And then next year, when they're all sick, they'll be, oh, better try the Atkins diet again. Hey, and then when they get sick again, hey, I better try Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and all these other things. It's not a real, okay, it's the same diet everyone's been doing. So, beginning of time, we were not hunters, we were gatherers. The hunting came later on as a survival scenario. Now, I want to be clear about this. There are no ethics involved in a survival scenario. Everyone's acting crazy, just trying to survive. So, I have no condemnation for this. What am I going to tell people who are crazy and not thinking properly? They just want to survive. But we are not in an ice age anymore. Now it's habit. It's tradition. It's convenience. It's everywhere. That's why I do it. These are not justifiable reasons for committing slavery and torture and murder against innocent beings anymore. And I don't want to just talk about evolution, because I know a lot of people are creationists. To prove this point, too, in another way, at the beginning of creation, look no further than the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden. That vegan haven where Adam and Eve were the first vegans on this planet. And if you believe that God created us, I just talked about human physiology, He created us as herbivores. There's no way that God said, hey, I give you all this meat and dairy. Make yourself sick. Get cancer. Have heart disease. But be fruitful and multiply. Okay? The four most important words in the Bible, by the way, and in every religion, what are the four most important yet most ignored words? It starts with thou. Thou shalt not kill. It's not open for interpretation. Thou shalt not kill. God's first dietary law, Genesis 1:29, I give you seed-bearing plants for food. God's last dietary law, Isaiah 11:7, the wolf will live with the lamb, the cow will feed with the bear, the lion will eat straw like the ox, a child will lead them, and no one will harm in my holy mountain. Because if you believe in God in a perfect state, the Garden of Eden or heaven, it has to be cruelty-free. There's only one way to be cruelty-free. Veganism. That's why it says the wolf will live with the lamb. Even the carnivores won't be eating each other anymore. So we should be striving towards these perfect states. I know we're not perfect people, but we could at least make an effort. Right now I get so upset because nobody makes an effort. Everybody walks around like robots, doing what they're told. Give me some more meat. Meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, meat for dinner. I mean, you could even agree that even way back when we were eating meat, it was never breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it was never meat on top of meat on top of meat with cheese on top of it. What's this bacon-wrapped steak with cheese on top of it? Chicken and bacon, bacon and this, steak and... what is this? This is not... You guys know that bears who are meat eaters, they don't walk through the woods and catch a salmon in the river and then take the salmon and put it over their shoulder and go, hey, there's a raccoon. Kill that raccoon. Wrap this fish around the raccoon. We don't even act like the real carnivores act, because we're fake carnivores, completely fake. And I do want to say one more thing about religion before we do the next question. Because last year when I was here, boy, everybody took me to the holy city. I say that with vehement sarcasm, Jerusalem. Because as I walked into the holy city, first I passed 3,000 vendors, hawking everything. Hey, Bibles, Stars of David, crosses, Korans, taluses, yarmulkes, what do you need? Yeah, that's what religion, that's what God wants. Sell some stuff in my name. Sell some stuff. So as we got into the holy city, we came upon the Wailing Wall. And what did I see? 300 people standing in front of the friggin' wall. I love the fact, too, that the women had to stand on the other side. I like the sexism in there, too. So, I turned to my wife, Erica, and I said, it is time to go. Because I'm about to cause the biggest scene they've seen here. Because here's my problem with religion. I believe in God wholeheartedly. I do. Okay? But God is not in a wall. I don't care if it was the first synagogue or the last synagogue, he's not in a wall. God is also not in a book. I don't care what book, whether it's the Bible or the Quran or what holy book you want to, invoke, he is not in books. This made me realize something with religious people. Nobody ever worships and respects anything that God created. The animals, kill them. Kill them right now. Steal them. Steal the babies from their moms. Cut their beaks off. Cut their horns off. Screw them. Kill them. Kill them. Put them on the trucks and kill them. The forest, cut it down. Cut it all down. The water, pollute it. The Dead Sea, hey, let's take all the minerals from it. Let's take 5 miles off the Dead Sea. Let's rape the sea. Let's pollute the air. Everything that God created, religious people shit on. But anything that we created in God's name, it's the most holiest thing. The Bible, and if the Bible falls on the ground, look at it. Talus touches the ground. I'm in a church. I'm in a synagogue. I don't want to be on my church. I grow a long beard. Cover my head in cloth. Everything. A Star David, a cross. Oh my God, it's the most holiest thing. Stop it. If you are religious, start worshiping and respecting God's creation. Because if you believe that God created humans, the animals, and the earth, and I believe that, then God is in humans, the animals, and the earth. Therefore, if you kill humans, the animals, or the earth, you are killing a piece of God. Every time. You are murdering God. And that is blasphemous. And I wouldn't be so harsh on religious people with their rituals if they were decent people. Erica, I know that you hate when I talk about the rituals. Okay, but it bugs me because that's all people do. Is dubbing all day long. I mean, I was on the plane ride here, next to all these Orthodox Jews surrounding me, reading a book, 12 hours reading a book. I'm looking over there going, does he know God's not in that book? Yeah, and eating meat while they read the Stop it already. But I wouldn't mind the long beards and the cloth. I wouldn't mind the yarmulkes and the taluses. I wouldn't mind dipping people in water. I wouldn't mind all the things that religious people do. I wouldn't mind the rosaries if people were decent people who lived a decent lifestyle as a vegan, who didn't hate other human beings because they worshipped a different God, because they looked different, because they acted different, because they had different skin, because they were sexually attracted to someone of the same sex. So I'm only harsh on religion because of the rituals. People have turned religion into a ritualistic practice when it's all about compassion and love. That's all God wants, to be kind, be a good person. That's what he created. Yeah.
Chickens.
Dies from hunger. And I want to ask you as a person that I appreciate very much what you do. To ask if you're inside your personal life, in your vision, if you are a happy person, And the second thing, I thought about prostitutes. I really agree with what you say. There's so many other calculations about human beings and animals. To you, if you feel that there is hope. Because it's like I want to know how many people you convince to change the way of eating, not eating animals. And there's so many problems. Human being, if you feel there is hope. If you're happy, if you feel there is hope, it's like what you do is like you do a very big thing, but still it is rock in the sea.
You're right about that. It's hard for one person to go out and make all this change. It's hard for a small group of people to go out and make change, but that's how change happens. Now, what's the first part of your question? Am I happy? Do I think there's hope? Depends on which day you ask me. You ask me on a good day when people are listening? Yeah, I think there's a lot of hope. You ask me over the last year what happened here in Israel? Man, I got a lot of hope for this planet. You ask me on a day when people scream and yell at me and want to turn my lectures into a Jerry Springer show, into a melee, I think there's no hope.
No, I don't talk about what you're saying. I'm talking about salvation. Everything in this world is wrong.
I think there's hope. I do. I don't think lies can live forever. I don't think injustice can last forever. The problem is it lasts a long time. It lasts hundreds of years or thousands of years. But in the end, truth always wins out. Compassion always wins out. I do have faith that our species can one day turn around and stop being two-legged devils and start acting like godly beings that we're supposed to be. I do have hope. I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be in 20 years, in 50 years, or 100 years, or 200 years. I wish I knew. I hope I get to see it in my lifetime. It would be wonderful to see peace on this planet, not only with the animals, but with each other. And I do think, again, that we can get to peace with each other through peace to the animals. I want to be clear about something. I want to interject something here. If you teach a child growing up, let's face it, all the forms of hatred, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, these all stem from speciesism. Most people don't want to believe this necessarily, but it's the first form of hatred humans are taught. Before anyone is ever taught to hate a Jew, if they're taught to hate a Jew, or hate a black person, if they're taught to hate that, they're taught to hate the cow, the pig, the chicken, the turkey, the fish. So when a child grows up and sees different sizes, shapes, and colors of human beings, how are they supposed to know that I'm supposed to be peaceful to you? Because growing up, they're like, hey, be nice to the dog, but forget about the chicken. Stomp on that spider or that ant, but love that cat. So if you've taught pure compassion to a child growing up, for instance, as a 2-year-old kid, your kid, in the house, there's a spider on the wall. Kid starts crying, like anybody would. I'm afraid of spiders. But I would say, hey, hold on. Okay, we're gonna catch that spider and move him out of the house. We're not gonna kill him because he's got every right to live on this planet like you. We're gonna get a cup. A cup with a flat piece of paper. Okay, you're gonna go outside. Okay, if there's a mouse in the house, we say, okay, we're not gonna kill that mouse. We're gonna catch him in a live trap, though. And we're gonna catch him, and we're gonna take him to a field and let him go. So the child now grows up and sees a different shape and size and color of a human being. How do they learn to hate? Speciesism teaches hatred. So we can't have peace on earth through the eradication of speciesism.
Locust.
Locust.
From the Bible, the locust.
שזה סוג של הרבה. מה הרבה? המחלקים הרבה. אנשים מחפשים.
You're going to ask me about what happened 5,000 years ago with locusts? I don't know. I've never thought about this before. You're asking me a question that I'm shocked. I got a new question. Never had any questions. Listen, if you're being attacked, I'll answer it in self-defense way. If you are being attacked, your home's being attacked, you have a right to defend yourself. This is what's going on, and we're being attacked, and we're not being allowed to have a right to retaliate. So I guess it would be okay, but I want to be clear. We are the attackers when it comes to the cows and the pigs and the chickens. They are not attacking us. We are the tormentors. We are the oppressors. So just because it might be okay to kill locusts because they're eating up all our crops, it doesn't give us the right to kill cows, pigs, and chickens, and turkeys. It would give us the right to kill locusts.
Very happy that the shark attacked the person. I said to the you're attacking the shark, you're attacking the shark, you're amazed that he's attacking back.
Really shocked. By the way, have you noticed that all the rules that we claim that the world should be run by, they never really apply to us, just everyone else. Like, it's okay to kill any animal you want. It is totally okay. Boy, but let one human die, what human get attacked? Let's go kill the sharks. They attacked us. But hey, we kill about, 5 to 10 million sharks every year, if not more than that. So, we always talk about survival of the fittest. It's an argument a lot of people use at the payload. Survival of the fittest. But how come whenever we're the victim, all of a sudden it's a different story? Every time a bear or a mountain lion attacks a hiker, hey, let's go get 20 guys and some guns. Let's go kill that mountain lion. It's all the survival of the fittest. Hey, it's good to be the king, isn't it? You notice that when people are doing that, they're doing the golden rule. Not the golden rule, be kind, but he who has the gold makes the rule. Oh, none of the rules apply to us. Boy, we can kill 9 billion chickens in America every year, and it's a party. That one human died. Oh my God, it's a tragedy. That 1,400 Syrians get gassed. Oh my God, the world comes to a stop. Oh my God, what's going on? Hey, we kill 60 billion land animals. It's a party. It's a barbecue. It's fun. You understand? It's completely unfair. When we think nothing applies to us, or everything only applies to us and never to the animals, then we are quite unfair and unreasonable beings. Veganism can put us back on the path. Next question? Yes.
I have two questions. The first one related to the happiness question.
Oh.
The first thing you say to yourself when you get up in the morning.
Oh, I got two new questions. I don't know. It depends. There are some days I turn to my wife Erica and I say I love you. There are days I go and grab my dog and kiss him and tell him I love him. I don't know. Whoever closest to me gets the first hug and the kiss to start the day. I usually get up before Erica, so I actually usually probably talk to Doyle first. I take him outside. I don't know. And listen, the happiness, I'll be honest, I'm not a politician. There are days I'm happy and days I'm not. It's hard to be aware and be happy. You understand? It's hard to be enlightened and to be happy all the time. Enlightenment is bittersweet. I'm thankful for all the truth that I've learned over the last 17 years as a vegan. I'm thankful that I can live the truth and speak the truth and know the truth. But it's very depressing to see how evil my species is, how much they don't care about an innocent being's life. So it's tough. Just so you know, I'm a recluse these days. You guys know what a recluse is? I really don't socialize. When I go out and do my lectures, and my whole goal when I'm done lecturing is I want to get back to the hotel and be with Erica. Or if I'm back in America, I want to get back home and be with Erica and Doyle. And that's pretty much the only people I ever hang out with. Because it's tough to live in this world when you're aware. So I don't, you know, sometimes I'm always happy when somebody listens and changes. I'm happy when everybody in Israel comes up to me on the street and says, "Oh my God, you changed my life. Hey, Gary, oh my God." I'm like, "This is great. This is so great." But it doesn't satisfy me because it's not enough. And I don't want adoration. I know the Israeli media loves to call me the guru. I'm not a guru. I don't want to be a guru. I don't want. I'm not forming a cult. I don't want your money. I don't want membership. I don't want you to come to some place that I've set up. That's not what I want. I just want you to be kind to animals, and I want to move on to the next person. And I want to move on to the next person, the next person, the next person. Last night at that restaurant, most of the people, I think, were there for me. And it was weird because, again, I don't do this for adoration. I don't do this to get love from people. I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. But for a moment, I sat there alone with Erica in the corner, and I looked around, and I tried to absorb it and take it in. I'm like, all these people are vegan because of me? But it didn't work because I'm not satisfied. Don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that they all changed. But I know what's going on right now. I know that there's a female cow being raped right now, and her baby's being stolen from her. And the most horrible scream I've ever heard, and I've heard all the screams, by the way. I've been to dozens of slaughterhouses over the years. I've been to animal research labs. I've been behind the scenes of every circus that ever came through my home state of Michigan. The worst scream I ever heard was a mother cow screaming for her stolen baby to be given back to her. Like any woman in this room would scream if somebody held you down after you gave birth and stole your newborn baby from you. Like all the Jewish women in the Holocaust had screamed when their babies were ripped from their arms by the Nazis. I hear those screams constantly. They're in my head. And I can't get rid of them. I hear this, I see the fear in their eyes. Do you know the last time, by the way, I haven't been to a slaughterhouse, a place like that, since 2007, because I had a horrible, the worst experience ever. I went to an auction house. I don't, by the way, you guys feel pretty cool. I almost never tell this story to anybody. I went to an auction house, a place where they auction off animals. And it's open to the public, so I didn't have to sneak around. I didn't have to break in at 2 in the morning. So I walked right in. I went to the back area where the cows and the sheep were. I had a camera. I was filming. Now, I've done this dozens of times, and every time I've been there, all the animals knew why I was there. We had a connection. I'm getting this footage. I'm going to get you guys out here. I'm going to show everybody what's going on with you guys. And there were times, though, where they looked at me like, you're not going to leave me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just have to get footage. I can't take 1,000 cows with me. I'm sorry. But I'm going to show everybody what's going on. Well, today, that day was the first day they didn't recognize me. They were so afraid. And when I walked up to them, they all turned, and they were shaking. And they were turning back and looking at me as if they were saying, what are you going to do to me now? Where are you taking me now? What are you going to cut off of me now? Leave me alone, two-legged devil. Leave me alone. And I had tears in my eyes. And I'm like, no, I'm here to get footage to show people. And they're just like, please, no more. And that was all I can take. I haven't been back because I can't. I can't take this anymore. And this is why I get so angry. And this is why I say things like, I hope evil people get evil returned to them. I do. I truly do. Because that's how horrible it is for them. So, enlightenment is bittersweet. I don't take it back. I'm thankful for everything that I've learned, but it's tough to see the world as it truly is. And listen, there are days when people scream and yell at me. I wish I didn't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm like everyone else. I don't want to be hated. You know, when I was a meat eater, everybody loved me. Everybody. I was the life of the party. In high school, you know how there are different cliques in high school, different groups of people? Back in America, there's black people hang out together, the white people hang out together, the Jewish people hang out together, right? The stoners, the people that smoke weed hang out together. Guess who was the only person at Berkeley High School that can hang out with everybody? Me. One day I'm hanging out with the blacks, one day with the Jews, one day with the preppies, one day with the stoners. I can hang out with everybody loves me. Gary went vegan, had an epiphany, a revelation. Everybody thinks Gary's a dick. He's such an asshole. Why? What happened? Oh, Gary likes pigs now. Really? I'm an asshole because I want to make sure somebody doesn't get tortured and killed. We're such an irrational species. So it's tough. It's tough to be happy all the time. It is. I'm happy with Erica. I'm happy with Doyle. I'm happy that I changed a lot of people's minds, but I'm not happy enough. I won't be happy till all the animals are free, till all the cages are empty, till all the restaurants only serve vegan food. That's when I'll be happy. When all the animals are out of the animal research laboratories, when all the animals are out of the circus and the rodeo, I'll be thrilled. When people stop wearing animal skin. And I want to explain something else because it was brought up about the fur. You guys know the two main ways of killing animals in the fur industry? Mink, which is probably the most popular fur coat from the mink animal. Mink are anally electrocuted. I'm sorry, mink have their necks broken. I'm sorry, I'll be clear. Minks have their necks broken. Chinchillas, which is a popular, chinchillas are vaginally electrocuted. They take a steel rod and shove it in their vagina, and they electrocute them. Foxes. Foxes, the standard method of death for every fox killed by the fur industry on this planet is anal electrocution. Foxes have their tails lifted up, have a steel rod shoved in their anus, and they are electrocuted. That's a rape. How dare anybody get upset that I wish, I don't ask, I wish that somebody who rapes somebody else gets raped. Just think about this. When the rapists stop raping the animals, I'll stop wishing that the rapists get raped. They bring it on themselves. Be upset at the rapist. Don't be upset at me for getting mad at the rapist. That's insane. Be upset with me because we rape cows every day. These people that are upset with me are rapists. Why would you side with the rapist? I'm the one that wants to end the rape, end the torture, end the slavery. That's why I'm here. I'm here to speak for the most oppressed, the most enslaved, and the most murdered group that has ever existed, the animals. Other question? Somebody didn't ask a question.
Okay, short one. For vegans among us, vegan people, do you think it's a good thing to buy the vegan products from companies that improve operations? Like Nuba, you mentioned.
Absolutely. I want to clear. There's something going on. I heard that a bunch of vegans.
Discussions about it lately, and
I'm tired of this from the vegans too. Wake up, vegans. You're not getting rid of Tanuva. You're not getting rid of McDonald's. Remember who's talking. Okay, I'm the radical one. I'm the one that's been to jail. I'm the one that's probably going to get killed one day for fighting for the animals. And I'm telling you, buy from Tanuva. Tanuva is not going to be eradicated ever. But we will change Tanuva one day and make them a vegan company.
I'm having a hard time giving them my money.
Why? Where do you shop? Where do you shop at grocery
Because they get my money.
Okay, but what grocery store do you shop at?
Yeah, I get what.
No, I want to be clear. I want to, okay, if you get it, I want to make sure everybody gets it.
Okay.
For everybody who says that I'm not buying from Tanuva because of what they do, shops at a grocery store that sells meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. Okay, you stop and get your gas at a gas station, and the gas station sells meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. You can't avoid it. Now, if you want to avoid it and you want to be consistent, that's all I ask for. Be consistent. That means forget about the grocery store. You better grow your own garden. You better stop driving a car. It is foolish. It is foolish not to buy from these companies. Dean Foods, the biggest supplier of cow's milk on the planet. Most people don't know that. Dean Foods. You know, 10 years ago, Dean Foods bought Silk soy milk. I don't know if you have Silk over here, but it's in every grocery store in America. Dean Foods is responsible for putting soy milk in every grocery store in America. Not me. I wish it was me. Not the animal rights community. Dean Foods brought soy milk to the American public. This is how corporations work. The writing's on the wall. By the way, they sat down. Tanuva sat, just so you know, this is how a business works. Okay, money, right? So they had a meeting and they said, hey, wow, there's really a revolution going on in Israel right now. People want vegan food. We better get our hands in on the vegan market. Okay, but, you know, and they had a discussion. They're business people. And they said, let's do it. If you can show them that they can make billions of dollars not tormenting and killing and harming animals and destroying this planet and making people sick, show them. Because then they're going to change what they sell. It's supply and demand. If you don't demand these products, they're not going to make them. Here's what's going to happen. If you don't buy from Tanuva, they're going to stop making it. Then what? Then nobody's got any vegan yogurt options anymore. If you stop buying Silk soy milk because of Dean Foods, and Silk soy milk is not taken out of the grocery store, well, that's great. Now what?
One day we go out and demonstrate against them, and
Listen, they separate their income from what they sell. When the money comes in, don't they?
Do they do that?
There's no doubt. Are you kidding me? These are business people.
Definitely.
They want to know every product. What product sells what? Because guess what? When it doesn't sell, you notice how when a product, and I don't care if it's vegan or not vegan, you notice how products all of a sudden disappear? Guess why they disappear? Because nobody bought them. They know that product doesn't sell. Stop making it. When that vegan yogurt is sold, oh, it's a separate ledger. It's like, oh man, we made $7.4 million in the last 3 months selling vegan yogurt. That's twice the amount that we made selling cow's milk. Make 2 more vegan yogurts next year. And make 10 more vegan yogurts. And you know what? This cow's milk yogurt isn't even selling anymore. Screw it. All vegan. You're going to have to change the companies. And remember, I'm radical. Okay, but you can't not support these companies. If they're making vegan, that's what we want. We want vegan products. Listen, for the record, I don't want the Ringling Brothers circus to be put out of business. I just want the elephants out. Keep the clown. Keep the acrobats. Keep the guy in the motorcycle that rides around that big steel ball. That's what's entertaining about a circus. I just want the animals out. Make your circus like Cirque du Soleil, the world's best all-human circus. Okay, I want McDonald's to be mixed soy one day, and it will be if we demand it. Bombay has a vegetarian McDonald's. In Canada, they have vegan Big Macs. KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, there's vegan chicken sandwiches in Canada because they're demanding it. If we demand it, they start producing it, and if we demand it enough, the menu's going to change. That's the only way to make this change happen. You're not going to put McDonald's out of business and then have a new fast food empire, a vegan fast food empire. No. The meat empires are going to change to vegan empires, and that's fine. Well, there's no vegan stuff in America at McDonald's. But when, for a couple of years, in New York City, they did have a vegan burger, and yes, I had it 3 or 4 times, absolutely. And you know what? It was delicious. And I told them, thank you so much. Please keep this on the menu. Please, absolutely. And listen, I shop at grocery stores. There are no vegan grocery stores. This is why this position can't work. I'm sorry, there is one. There's one in Portland. In Portland, Oregon, there's a vegan grocery store.
Let's go to
Food Fight Grocery. And actually, there's another one in California. Viva La Vegan just opened up. So unless you're near the vegan grocery store, you can't maintain consistency with this issue. But listen, I want to be fair about this. If you don't feel comfortable buying it, don't. But don't discourage others. Because our goal as vegans is to encourage others to buy vegan food. And if that's the vegan food that's there, buy it instead of the cow's milk yogurt. Please buy the vegan yogurt instead, please.
The only way for these companies to know they're making a profit is for all of the money purchased on vegan yogurt to go back into the vegan yogurt. That's the only way they're going to know whether they're making a profit, whether they're selling it at the right price and it's making them enough money. So when you purchase that, your dollar goes back into the vegan yogurt. It doesn't go to the whole company. It goes right into that one.
There's a vegan division now at Tanuva. We're responsible for the vegan yogurt. This is and they have to prove to the other part of the business, okay, no, we can maintain this. We're going to pull our weight. We're going to make a profit. And then they're going to give them more money. Actually, they're going to give the money from the milk to the vegan. Hey, take some of that money. You guys get more money, until one day, all of a sudden, the cow's milk has this much money, and then the vegan yogurt has all this money. That's how it's going to change. Another question real quick?
Do you know any other people that make all over the world? Just by yourself?
As far as I know, I am the only vegan lecturer on this planet. The only one that gets invited into schools. By the way, now I'm going to do some schools while I'm here, but in America, I am definitely the only lecturer that gets invited into the school system. Just so you know, I don't set up open talks like this in America. If I did, nobody would show up. So I go to the teachers or the professors directly, and I say, can I speak in your class, in your ethics class, in your philosophy class, composition, nutrition, public speaking, whatever it is. Can I come to your classroom? And they bring me into their class, 25 students, 50 students, whatever, 100 students, and they let me give a lecture. I've encouraged a lot of people over the years to do what I'm doing because education is the best form of activism.
Why don't you make an empire, so to speak?
Because I have no faith in anybody ever following through on anything. You know how many people I have taught how to give lectures? Listen, you would think so. I had a person back in 2003 showed exactly how to give a lecture, how to present, I gave her answers. Well, what do I say to the Bible? What do I? Okay, here's answer. Say this. This is what I say. Da, da, da. Taught her everything. I said, well, how do I get into school? I said, it's simple. You act like I'm a genius. I go to the website of Ohio State University. I go to the philosophy department. I grab every email's professor, and I send an email. Can I speak in your class? Oh, but listen, I'm not explaining you. So I told her, this is what I did. I put her under my wing. I put dozens of people. I said, here's what you do. If you send 100 emails to professors, one will say yes. Absolutely. There's no doubt one's going to say yes. And maybe 2 or 3 will say yes. Well, guess what? Nobody ever follows through with it. I saw this person 7 years later. You know what she said to me? Oh, hey, Gary, man, I heard you're still lecturing. I'm going to do this soon. What? Soon what? It takes, spend 5 hours today, go to the website, grab the emails, and you'll be lecturing next week. Nobody follows through with things. So, by the way, this is why I work solo, and that's never going to change. Okay. Oh, how many people are going to go lecture now? How many vegans did I turn vegan that are going to go lecture in the school now? Nobody ever wants to do this. Listen, I work solo. I do this in my lecture tour. This is my baby. And as I work, I don't want to just talk about Israeli activists, Daniel, Hovav, Meital, Omri, Ori. You guys are awesome. I do work with Israeli activists, but back in America, I work with nobody. Nobody ever follows through with anything. I follow through. I said, years ago when I decided to do this lecture tour, I ran it by a few of my vegan friends. They're like, oh, you're crazy. You're never going to get into schools. Why even do it? I'm like, really? You don't think I get into schools? Now you're going to challenge me? You challenge me. Guess what? I went from 36 lectures my first year to 62 lectures to 93 lectures, and then I was up to 250, 260 lectures a year. And then was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing it. I'm like, why? All I did was ask. You act like it's so difficult. Ask. Can I speak in your class? Of course, one is going to say yes out of 100. And now, again, I'm doing all these lectures. By the way, I'm not here in this movement to be a cheerleader. I know what you're kind of asking me to do.
I'm not asking you to do
No,
it.
no.
I'm wondering why you haven't done it.
Because I tried to be a cheerleader and an inspirer years ago to the vegan. And all everybody does is want to get together and socialize. You're like, oh, he's so great, isn't he? Okay, I don't want your adoration. I want you to do something. When I started my own organization, I had about 7 or 8 people that I had on my board of directors. So every month we'd have a meeting, right? Okay, I want you guys to call these news stations. You guys call these TV stations. You call the radio stations. I want you to go set up a protest here at the first store. You to set this up. So then we'd have the meeting at the end of the month, and I'd say, okay, did you guys get a hold of Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 2? Oh, I got busy. I said, you know what? I kind of knew everybody was going to say that, so I actually called everybody. So then I kept doing this over and over again. And same thing, nobody did anything. I said, why do I have you guys, why are we having a meeting? Just to have a meeting? I don't like having meetings. I don't do meetings. I don't do discussions. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I don't do that stuff. I'm in a classroom. I'm in front of a crowd of people. I'm an activist. True sense of the word, active. Too many people. Yeah, listen, I wish people would get more active, but I'm not the one to be the cheerleader and go, let's come on, everybody, let's get together and da-da-da. I talk to meat eaters. I talk to dairy eaters. I convert people. That's my job. I'm a converter. I'm not a cheerleader like, hey, vegans, let's get together. Pardon? Well, I came across thousands of vegans back in America. I was in the trenches for 17 years. There's about 3 people that are still left and active when I started. 3 people. And I'm not even sure if they're doing much anymore right now. Nobody follows through, unfortunately. But, you know what? All I need is everybody to go vegan. Just keep going vegan, and we're still going to change the world, even if people aren't active enough. Okay. Are we running out of time, by the way?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Last question. Yeah, last question. Canada, Britain, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales.
מה הוא שאל? מי לא מכניס אותה?
What's the problem with this guy? He's like preventing people to make money.
Well, not really. That's what they think, but then Tanuva's going to make tons of money selling vegan yogurt. I'm not taking money away from anybody. People just hate to change. Understand the hypocrisy here that if I talked about killing animals instead of saving animals, I'd be welcomed everywhere. If I travel the world and said, hey, let's kill animals like this, it's more efficient. Let's cook their flesh like this. People are like, oh man, come on. But I say, hey, wait, stop killing animals. You guys are acting like Nazis. Oh, I want to hear what you have to say.
If someone raised 1,000 chickens a month to sell them for food, and he won't sell them because of you. This is the reason, because people are afraid that people. It's like a money thing. It's like preventing this business.
But you know what? Nobody should have any empathy or any weight on what a murderer does if they're in business or not. If you think about this, for America, we had black slavery for 400 years. Why? Free labor. Free money. And they used the same arguments about, oh, you're going to destroy the economy if we free the blacks. But who cares if the economy is destroyed while people are being oppressed? I don't care who's going out of business because I'm freeing somebody else. But money, you just brought it up. Money is the root of all evil. And I wish people worship God instead of money. I'm going to wrap it up with this. I read a stat recently that 96% of the human population believes in God. I don't doubt that people believe in God. I just wish that they worship God. Because all they do is worship the root of all evil, money. And it's time to forget about money and start caring about justice and compassion. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.